Hey, welcome everybody. This is Bernhard Hollinger again with another remix video for the gang from Munich, Ark Noir, some friends of mine, and yeah, this looks good. So I got a new compact flash card in, and it's the first time that I filled one of my projects, and I need to open a new project, so we're just gonna do that really quick. And we call this project Deep Stuff 2. So the Ark Noir had uploaded some files again for me, and I just downloaded them and got them into my my software, because last time already spoke a little bit about this. The Octatrack is a sampler that works with 44.1 kilohertz sample rate. So initially, the very first time I worked with some samples from the band, we ran into the issue that the samples they provided were 48 kilohertz. So that messed up the tempo information and the speed which the Octatrack played back the samples. So just saying, this is like one of those very basic things. The Octatrack works just works like that with 44.1 hertz. So I just got the samples into my software, made sure I bounced them with 44.1, and we're just gonna import the stems now. The song is called Blue Pill, Red Pill, I think. We just call it Ark Noir Pill. The Ark Noir Pill. Nice. That's a nice working title. So let's see if I have everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 samples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I got the 12 samples. So let's see what we got. The interesting thing is now, this is one thing that is just a thought, you know. The Octatrack is very menu based, so basically when you configure a certain template, it just sticks with it. So one of those things is, for example, here you got the setup of having 8 tracks, but you can use the last track as a master track, which I like to do a lot, because just compressing the master track and using effects, it feels like it all like glues the different stems more together. And the thing is, though, yeah, once I set it up, the whole project is like, it's gonna be like this. So that's a bit like, you know, like things you have to think about before, or like that you should be thinking about, what do I want to do? Because just earlier here in my projects, when I change, this was my initial project, the Deep Stuff 2 is the new one. I have here a project which is called Loose Tracks, and I just checked it out, and the name actually said it all. Like, the Octatrack also has the ability to have loose tracks running separately, like having different different meters, different length, and you can also play them separately, so they are not aligned in this grid. And this is a really interesting, really interesting thing, I think, personally for me, because this is another way the Octatrack offers for us to break out of this kind of like very stiff, gritty feel. For all who watched my video last time, I tried to, in which I showed how to do like more advanced rhythmic stuff. So it's basically the same problem. It's like we are forced into this like 16 grid rather than having the ability to decide. And like this loose track idea, let's check it out. You know what? Let's just work with loose tracks now. It's a nice challenge. Was not prepared for that, but let's see what I can do. So I think you do that pattern setting exactly. This is really interesting because here under the pattern setting you can say like what scales does everything have. Here, for example, you can say you have a scale mode per track. Let's do that. And then you can even go into the tracks, the single tracks, and like plays free. You can play it free, you know. Start, silent, auto, play free. Let's do play free. One shot trick. This is the track 2. So here we have this. What about here? You know what? Let's do the first 2. Plays freely. But I'm also kind of curious if I have something here. Personalize usually. Live, mute, no. Short symbols, short quick mode, this is okay. Control audio. Ah yeah, here we have the master track and the normal track. So we decide track 8 is going to be master track. What else? This is the input. Let's go a bit through this thing. MIDI sequencer we don't need. Many. Okay, cool. So my 8th track is the master track, which is kind of cool. The interesting thing is now those 2 I set up that they can play freely, which means like they are off. You can play them separately out of the grid from the sampler, which is kind of cool. So you break it a bit out. It's also nice that you can choose this per track. So this is really cool. You can really like only have one track that breaks out or not. So the interesting thing is, let's see, we have also different scales which we set now. So when we go in the page setup, all of a sudden it says scale track 2. And then you can set your scale track 2, and you also can set the speed in relation to the master track, the master speed, the tempo. So this is also really interesting, and this is another way of doing cross rhythms. For example, imagine like you have one track that goes 16/16, like 1 bar, and then the other one is 1 bar, but then all of a sudden it's being played 1.5 times the tempo, so it's actually faster, and therefore that means you need 2 rounds of this and 1 of this. You know what I mean? So this is also really interesting. And the interesting thing is also it shows down here the master length. So the master length decides when the sequencer is gonna jump to the start and begin from the start again. And this is you can get really far out with this. And the interesting thing is also now we've set up this as play freely. So it's gonna be a huge I almost wanted to say mess, but it's not a mess, but it's gonna be much more interweaved, like the rhythms and the patterns, rather than being like pattern 1, pattern 2, track 1 starts here together with the rest and goes like this, you know. So now this gives me it offers me a lot of freedom actually to do rhythmic stuff and to do layers and sounds that not necessarily triggered in a grid. And let's just see what comes out. So I want to first try to find something for the first two tracks because they play freely and I want to use something. I want to use this. I don't know. Let's see. We have to here load in these samples. Taurus, here we go. Oh. Okay, let's see. Pop. Am I on here? No. Volume up. Yes. This is beautiful, you know, something like that. Zack, time stretch. What I want to do is... It kind of keeps on looping. It plays freely anyway, so... Ah, this is interesting because now when I press play, it doesn't work. Ah! Nice. So here the sequencer, because we say play freely, doesn't work. So that means we have to trigger it manually. There we go. And why is there no sound? I'm first doing setting up the compressor here. This is my favorite setup. Make it a bit softer. Why is there no sound? Let's see what's happening here. Ah, it's just hanging in there. Did we do something with the length? Length, time, slice off. Here we go. Why is there no sound? Wow. So this is the old equalizer setting, which is crazy. Which had like the low ends boost a lot. And imagine if I... Okay, we need to... You know what's really cool also is to first of all go a bit into this one here. Exactly, and then get rid of this and make it start here. Bam! And then the end is cool. And what I did last time already, which I thought was really, really cool, was to create a slice grid. So now we have it divided into like equal slices with different sounds. And the nice thing now is though that maybe we can make an LFO that jumps around those different slices, and it's just like a low end craziness going to happen. So we say like here start random. We have 16 slices. Plays freely for now. Let's see how this works out. We have to go back in the setup and say slices on, and then the length is the slice. So when we go and move the start, you see it goes through the slices. So this is why we have to set up the LFO here, start, that it kind of like chooses randomly randomly the different slices. Let's see how this works out. Okay, now it just plays here. Why doesn't it jump around? Maybe because loop is on. What happens like this? Oh. Ah, this is interesting. So now, like, it needs to be manually triggered, it just cannot go. Once it goes, it goes. Okay. This is kind of cool, though. You know what? And you know what? We're gonna do it like this. Only on we copy not the pattern, we copy the track, we paste track, and then here we leave it like this, but we do like a random pattern for now, just to see how it works out. And I wanna still keep this idea with this per trick. I don't know, let's see how this works out. Wait, did I say play freely on this one? No. Per track. Oh, I did. Here we go. You see, jumping around. This is kind of cool. But now we already got a low layer, so I want to work with this sample and I'm going to pitch it up. This is very cool. And we take out the bass, you know, because we got some bass already. This sounds almost like a tabla player. This is really nice. It should be faster though, so why don't we do this? That's too fast though. Why don't we add some maybe the spring reverb could be cool. So this is kind of cool. Wow, I did not expect something like this. Because here, this is a very hectic track, but it sounds really nice. I love it. It almost sounds like a tabla player. Especially with the spring reverb, that makes it really nice. I want to work with the pitch here though, so the center is more cleared up for the low end. I have to see what I do about this, because for now it's like really a lot of low. And it doesn't really sound nice yet because it's totally distorting, but like in a way I do like that. Let's see what we do with this later. I'm just gonna add the balance. That's so nice. I love this stuff. And here we work with the triggers. So I don't know if you hear it, but it's like panning left and right. Why don't we add some panning in this one too? So this one didn't work because it goes through, so we can just change that. And here we say, it's really nice, those LFOs, because you can, it has, yeah, kind of a couple of parameters you can attach it to. But what I sometimes do, especially now, it looks like it goes more into like a heavy track. So what it's always nice is to kind of give the tracks a bit more of a human feel, so a bit more of a little bit of movement, so it feels much more organic. So this is really nice, using the LFOs for example, for the volume, to, you know, get it like slowly louder and back. So sine waves, slow, we're gonna do it free, and we're gonna make it really slow. So this is kind of nice, and the depth not too much though, just a little bit. And also another thing is the panning, because this is slow. This is also, this could be so cool if this is moving around. And here I want this thing to go through, so I decide to just change the end a bit. Set end here. Oh, the panning is amazing. This goes too fast. Oh, interesting. It didn't set the loop. Why did you not loop on? So it should set the end here and not allowed. Why not? Oh, because I'm playing? No. Let's see what happens now. Otherwise, I might have to change this to a flex machine, because sometimes like chopping up and looping. But that should be working like this normally. Let's see if I set the end here in the audio editor. Okay. Set end set. Loop on. Let's see what happens. Oh, this is nice. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so basically we just need to change this to a flex machine. Flex machine loop on, time switch off. And then what was the sample we did at the first one? This one. Why is this like this now? Ah, exactly. This was like octavated down. Wait, but is this the same sample? No, it's not the same sample. Ah, wrong sample. Blue hi-hat. Wait, this is blue hi-hat static. And here I don't have any hi-hat sound in here. Interesting, this is the same sample. Okay, I did a mistake apparently. Blue hi-hat. Okay guys, I'm super confused. I thought this was the same sample. Like I had before. So this is somehow not really working. I don't know why. I'm just gonna go back to the main idea. To this main idea. Here I have the sample again. So let's see one more time if it goes through here. If it doesn't stop here, I'm just gonna add, this anyway doesn't work, but then we can work around with the time. Yeah, I think the looping function is only working in the flex, because the flex machine is supposed to work more with the samples, but we can fake our way around. This is very interesting. Let's see what happens here now. We go around 90. Now let's see where the thing starts to jump. It should be somewhere here. And then we need to fine tune it, the ending. Oh, funny. Really nice. I chose it really well. Did you see it? It's the... this was exactly where I put the end, so that's cool. Okay, finally did this. So you already saw, it's a very heavy sound, but I like it. I'm not sure if you hear it because it's really subby and really low, and it's panning slowly and becoming harder. And here in the neighbor track I wanted to add some more reverb, because here in the first track I have this crazy equalizer setting, so I wanted to give it a little bit more ambient, that it flows a bit more. This is too much, but something like this is cool. Just a little bit, you know? This is great. And then and here we're gonna do a kick. Yes! Bum bum bum! And here we do it just normal speed, but we say here, we say here 2 rounds, and then let's also say the master, you know, like it's all based on this pattern, bum bum bum. So we just say master is also gonna be 32, and it's gonna be exactly. So this track is the lowest layer of my speed. And then I say here only. Let's see. This is so cool. Dum dum bum. And then the thing starts here. So we're gonna hear. We have to start it manually. So it's like. Let's go first to this one here. Very, very hot. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what else we got. Ah, this is much nicer. Ui, 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 ui. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. Oh, wow. This is amazing. This is such a beautiful kick. Thank you so much, Marco. Marco is the guy, the drummer from the gang. And yeah, amazing guy. Check him out. Okay, now something is weird. Why is something weird now? Time touch off, loop off. Here we go. Yes. You know, actually, and now here we can say to leave it, to give it a bit more space even, it's only this is nice. Oh my god, then we have, this is gonna, oof. This reminds me very much of the Lost Seal thing I did. You know, bam bam bam. And then, I don't know, let's see. We also make this 2 rounds, so it's a bit, but we make it, I don't know. We make it run slower, 3/4. Okay, let's have a look into the sample, so we actually see what we are doing. Okay, that's cool. I was curious what happened to the harmony, but now that's interesting because here I chose, yeah. We're not gonna mess so much around because I want some kind of fixed form, at least in the bottom. This is interesting. Maybe we can make this one run faster then, or slower. more around with samples, and we're gonna fuck one of the drum recordings of Marco up really bad in our last track. So we use the overheads, and here we're just gonna do like random tricks. But then we say like to the LFO, we use the LFO to fuck it up really good. Rate, random per trigger. Haha, you know what? Here we're gonna do this thing. So we're gonna do the slice thing again. So it starts here. Yeah. Start here, and then we go out of here and we go all the way to the end. Set end here, we go here, we say create slice grid 16. Yes, we have our 16 slices. And now we're gonna do the same thing what we did earlier, and it didn't really work, but we do it here. We say once the rate, but then here we say the start. And then I start, we also identify, we say per trigger, depth like this. Trigger, boom. To get rid of the low ends. Wow, this is a really dystopian, dark one, I would say. And now the low. So this is the lowest layer. And then we have the kick drum. So on this one, this low sound just runs freely on top of it. I also can just trigger it manually. I've never done that. So somewhere in the manual also you can see how the whole free mode works. But the cool thing is here, this is rhythmically connected and the rest is rhythmically connected. This runs a bit fast, slower. Okay, now I'm just gonna do the last fine-tuning, and I need to just make sure that this low frequencies doesn't really interfere with the rest of the sounds, and that it doesn't get too distorted in the end, but I do like this. So in here, oh, this could be nice. So here we have a last one, so maybe we can say here also the volume sneaking in and out, you know? Yeah. Now I'm just gonna fine-tune the reverb. Yes, something like that. This is nice. It's just a little bit softer. Just take the last low end of this. Yeah, the kick drum already distorts. So now we have to be very careful. Also one trick I realized in the Octatrack is like sometimes you want this really hard compression being really rough, but like in ambient tracks you also want the opposite sometimes, to have it really soft. And though in the beginning I try to compress it first to see how it matches, in the process later on I sometimes tend to adjust the levels and make actually everything really soft, because I can always make it harder in the end or with like the main volume or on the mixer itself. So now I realized I did all the things too hard, too loud, so it kind of just clips really fast. So now I'm just trying to dial back on all the sound on the volumes. Yeah, do you hear this? There's no clipping. And here also we're gonna say volume, like sometimes they also play different volumes. This is let's see if we can get this kind of kick a bit snappier, a bit tighter. Chuck, chuck. Ooh. I don't like the kick too much, but maybe we can. Interesting. But you know what, also, I don't like this high end I have here in the kick. Tap, tap, tap. This should just be like a subtle thing in the bottom. So maybe we can do this with a filter even nicer. Yes, here we go. And then we distort it a bit. Yes. Yes. That's it. That's it. Clips. Yes. Yeah, it should just fit in the bottom there, you know? And you know what, also here we do like some fixed panning. We do like a bit left, bit right, and a bit more left. And it's not working because there's so much reverb on it. So why does it come out of both? I don't really hear a difference. Yeah, now I hear a difference. Suck, but Yes! And now I also hear it. Yeah, the left, right, left. Cool, okay. Yeah, this is really cool. And it's also a bit distorted, but not too much. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. So everybody, this is my really dark dystopian blue pill, red pill, Ark Noir pill remix that also just happened again. So basically, long story short, I wanted to experiment a little bit with like playing free, having 1 or 2 tracks playing free without any time. Then I ended up combining them to like a neighbor track because I wanted to have more effects for this kind of like low ambient layer, which is basically just like a full track with sounds I got from the band that I filtered out and EQ'd a bit, and it became this kind of like dark cloud that I just looped and played freely. Usually like playing free it's really easy when you do like more ambient, more timeless stuff, so much more atmospheric stuff. But then I also wanted to explore a bit like the scale modes, so having the different tracks played with a different speed and a different length, and this is really nice if you wanna have different to create different cross rhythms. For example, you have one track playing faster and then you can calculate it how long it takes that they come together again. You can either do it like this or you can break the circle in between. I just with me just happened that I decided to have the synthesizer layer played slower, and actually in the end it turned out that it's like a 3 feel, because you only have 3 bars of this played, but at the same length 4 bars of this. So it's interesting, those circles that they come together. And then I just decided to play a bit more around with those samples, and then very fast developed into like this really weird punk-ass dark track, which is really cool because like here I fucked up Marcus drum tracks, and I worked with a lot of LFOs in here as well, and to make it all a bit more organic and homogenic I used a lot of LFOs on panning. You're not able to hear it in the video so well, but be aware when you hear the track, and use headphones, and also LFOs on the volume of some tracks, so it's all a bit more, you know, like this. Anyway, this was my longest remake video for the Ark Noir Gang from Munich, and by far I guess the most experimental ones, especially if it comes to different techniques and approaches on the instrument on the Octatrack. Maybe next time I'm gonna focus really much more on the scale mode, or even more on the playing free. I don't know yet. Yeah, like always, I had no idea what I'm gonna do, and I have not heard the stems, so I'm just really intuitive on the instrument, and I'm just trying out different ideas. Yeah, today this happened. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as well as I did. Please let me know in the comments how you liked the video, or if you want me to try something out for you, or if you wanna talk about the instrument, the Octatrack. If you have any questions, please just hit me up. I'm very happy to help, and Yeah,